In the next few videos, I'll demonstrate some of the most important features in the scale editor and how they affect the key and scale detection in Melodyne. You can open up the scale editor down here, and each one of these options shows or hides additional columns in the scale editor. Whether you manually transfer in audio or if you use ARA, Melodyne will attempt to detect the scale or key of your song based on the notes in the transferred audio, whether it be an instrumental or a vocal. And most of the time Melodyne gets it right, but sometimes it doesn't. So here this is saying this is E minor blues. Now that's not necessarily wrong, but technically this is just E minor. So I'll change the key scale selection to E minor. Now let's say that the scale detection is completely wrong. Maybe it says it's in A minor instead of E minor. The problem with this is if you apply any pitch correction and snap this to the chord scale, you can end up with notes that are snapped to the wrong key. Here, F natural should be F sharp. Now, as a musician, I can look at this and immediately see that it's in E minor. E, F sharp, G, A, B, and C. These are the first 6 notes in the E minor scale. However, if you need help determining this, you can check out the scale detective on the left, and you'll see a big detection peak here on E. This tells you that the tonic key is probably E. Now, if you're having trouble determining the mode, so whether it's major, minor, or some other mode, you can pay attention to the mode column, and you can see if each of the scale degrees in the mode column match up with the notes in the note editor. So right now you can see each scale degree matches up with a note in the note editor, but if I change this to E major, you'll see that they no longer match up. So that's a way that you can check the mode if you're unsure. So now that I have the correct key selected, I can tune up the intonation on my acoustic guitar here and snap it to E minor. In the mode column, you can set the scale degree names to Roman numerals, solfeggio like do, re, mi, Turkish scale degrees, or Indian scale degrees. I'll set this back to Roman numerals since I'm working with Western harmony. By default, the tuning column will show you the interval between notes in cents. So with equal temperament, there's 100 cents per semitone and 1200 cents per octave. However, you'll see that the E minor tonic here is starting on 400 cents. I'll fix this by right-clicking and choosing Select as Tonic, which will make E the starting reference pitch, or tonic note, and it'll start on 0 cents. If you want to create custom non-equal temperament scales, you can actually create custom scales by adjusting the interval between each of the notes in the tuning column. But for now, I'll just stick with plain old E natural minor. You can change the interval display in the tuning column to display cents, hertz, or Turkish commas. If you change this to hertz, you can see the exact frequency for each note in the scale. If you click and hold here, you can adjust some settings for the pitch grid. If you set this to no snap, if you grab a blob and move it around, it won't snap to the pitch grid. And if you want to turn off monitoring when you edit a blob, you can go up to Options, Note Editor, and turn off the option Monitor when editing blobs. Now when I edit blobs, I won't hear anything. I can also double-click on this note with the main tool to set it to its closest intended note. You can also work with a chromatic snap, and blobs will snap to any of the 12 semitones in the chromatic scale. Or if you prefer, you can turn on Key Snap, and the blobs will only snap to notes within the selected key. So that's an overview of the main functions in the scale editor. In the next video, I'll show you how you can use the master tuning to better match the pitch of audio sources.